Backwards. Thank you very much. Back up. Back up. Good boy. Good boy. Back up. Nope. Shoulder over. Hind end over. We're backing. We're going this way. Good boy. Back up. Good boy. Come on. We gotta go this way. Nope. 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 Good boy. Back up. Good boy. Good boy. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Move your shoulder. Move your shoulder. Good boy. Move your hind. Move your hind. Move your shoulder. Move your shoulder. Move your shoulder. There you go. Now move your hind. Move your hind. Good boy. Good boy. Move your shoulder. Move your hind. Move your shoulder. Shoulder. Hind. All the way around. Hind. Shoulder. Hind. Shoulder. Shoulder. We'll get that hind first. Shoulder. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. So you want to fix those things. If we ask for that shoulder to come and then the hind moves, get that hind to come back and then go back to that shoulder again. That's kind of important. We don't want to... He did turn and face me. He did come towards me like I asked, but he didn't do it the way I asked. So I want to make sure he fully understands what I'm asking. So shoulder that way. Shoulder that way. Now let's take the hind and take the hind all the way. Good. Shoulder. Hind. Shoulder. Okay, so we got a little bit of a struggle here. So, want to free up, traveling through that right shoulder. We're going to stop him, swing him around. Shoulder. Okay, so he's getting confused on that hind end. So if he doesn't give me that shoulder, I'm going to go back to getting that hind end fixed. So when I draw this front end, that hind end shouldn't move. Where it is, I'm going to go back to getting that hind end moving freely. Take the hind end. Now I'm going to ask for that front end again. Lost the hind end, so we go back to doing this until it's free. Call it over. Ask for that front end. Good boy. Now that was very little. It was nowhere near as good as the other side. So I know I got to work on this some more. You know, but this side is kind of the more important side. We're going to tend to mount from that side more than, but we still want this side to catch up. So we're going to work on that a little bit. Good boy. Good boy. And knowing he's going to need that, that is what I'm going to spend most of my time on for my next, well, not the most of my time, but I know this is a priority on my next groundwork session. So, but these little things I'm doing right now, I know a lot of people who had a horse that was energetic as he is, they might lunge him first, and I would prefer doing little things like what I'm doing to get inside his mind and teach him to relax into movement. And, you know, because just lunging him, that might burn physical energy, but the reason for the physical energy is the emotional energy, and you actually make that emotional energy worse. So I want to address the emotional energy by doing things that allow me to ask him to relax. So like you see his head right here? I'm going to ask him to relax. See how he just relaxed? I want him to relax into movement. And it's the energy going into his rib cage that gets him to relax. So rather than lunging him, I mean, I'm kind of lunging him in a little circle here, but I'm not going to have him trot big circles if I don't have full control at a walk. So if I can't say shoulder, hind, side pass, take the shoulder out, take the shoulder in, take the shoulder out, forward, hind end, switch, shoulder in, shoulder out, shoulder in. Oh, come on now. That was poor. So I'm going to kind of send him into his shoulder here. Then I'm going to send him through and then draw it back to me. Still poor because the hind end's drifting out. So there is that little bit of resistance in this spot. You know, this spot right here. Anything off of this angle is creating a resistance in him. So I'm going to need to work in that area. So I'm going to try and get him to go ahead of me. I don't know if you can tell I'm square with his shoulder right now. So I'm going to encourage him to go ahead of me. Notice his hind end starting to drift out because he doesn't want me in that spot. There, now he's allowing me in that spot. So I'm gonna stay here for a minute. I'm gonna encourage that shoulder to pop out just a little bit while bringing that nose in. There we go. Nope, that doesn't mean stop. Okay, so the kissing made some trotting, which I'm kind of okay with. I don't mind that little extra. But I really want that shoulder to kind of pop out and that pole to pop in. You can see the resistance right here. So this is one concern I have, and this is one area that I need to work on a little bit more. I need to be able to push here and get that pole bent to me without him taking his hind end out and putting me out of that spot. This is a uncomfortable zone for him. So, and you'll notice, like, if I ask him to stop, how that hind end moved. Watch when I go this way. When I ask him to stop, well, that was equally as good. You'll be able to judge better by watching the video back and forth. But typically, he's a little bit slower to swing that hind end out, and the shoulder will drift. And this side, he's more likely to spin right out and allow me on his left side quickly. So evidently, we're making progress. So here, I'm just going to put energy into that rib until I get a pole break in my direction. See, he's kind of framing, but you notice that hind end's kind of drifting. I'm putting all my energy into that shoulder, and I'm wiggling. No, I'm not looking for a stop. I'm talking to the shoulder, not the hind end. So right here, all that energy is going right towards my stirrup panel and the girth, right behind the shoulder, so that I can get him. And I'm wiggling that rope so that I can just encourage him. I don't know if you can tell, but that pole is tipped to the left, even though the rest of him is tipped to the right. So if you don't have the pole, you don't have the mind. He's doing everything I'm asking, but he's there. Whoop. So I really want to get that mind engaged. Yeah, that's better. Oh, lost it. There. So what I might do here now is make it a little bit harder for him and ask him to side pass. It's a little bit easier for him to look at me if I'm more in front of him. So I'm going to put all my energy into the shoulder and hip. Oh, that was a little much for you, wasn't it, buddy? It's okay. Let's go. So right there, you don't play into that, and don't let it make you respond. Just, you know, throw that hip And now that we know that that bothers him, then we want to work on it a little bit more. It's like people who, oh, my horse overreacts when I use my legs. Well, use your legs more then. You know, we gotta, if it bothers them, show them that it doesn't need to bother them. Don't play into, just got a bug in my eye here. Don't play into that emotion. Don't allow that emotion to change, you know, unless there's reason for it. But there's no reason for this. This is just a rope. I'm swinging a rope. You know, it's nothing. It's his own foolishness. He's creating monsters that don't exist. So I'm going to keep sending him until he does. You know, notice I pause a little bit every time I get something for a try, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to let him poop. I'm not going to quit doing what I'm doing until he gets what I'm trying to say. You know, and that's the only difference between right and wrong. Whether, you know, if you're asking for something and you quit before you get a try, well, then that's wrong. But you can do it completely wrong and still get what you want if you don't quit until the horse starts to get the idea of what it is you want. So there really is no right or wrong. There may be something that isn't as effective. There may be something that doesn't work as well, or there may be something that you know, you're asking something totally different in a different way. But you know, you can ask him to side pass right by pushing on his left. You can change that if you wanted to, you know, and I might call that wrong just because it goes against everything you really want. But really, if that's what you want, then why is it wrong? So whatever you want your cue to be, whatever you want the response to be, that's all up to you and how you reward. But I like to talk in a way that my energy is going to, so he's having a lot of trouble today going this way. So I don't know what that is, but we're going to work on it until that's free. There, that's better. Until that's freed up. There. I would like to see. There, that's much better. Okay, so still not as good as I'd like it, but it's way better than it's been, so I'm going to call that good for now. It's obviously not good enough, but it's good enough for now. So, knowing that it's going to need a little bit more, and if I can transition him a few times without getting overreaction like that, then I'll tie my rope as a set of reins and we'll move to riding. Let's see, the head comes up and the nose comes forward, so I'm going to do a couple more of these transitions until he, there, that was reasonably relaxed. The head still came up, but the footfalls were going, so we're on the right track. That was much better. Kept his nose in, head only come up a little bit. He's looking a lot softer in the neck and shoulder. Again, nose is kind of staying towards me a little bit. Shoulder's still popping out a little bit, which means the pole's popping out. I wasn't looking at the pole, I was looking at the shoulder, so be curious to see the video afterwards. But I do believe, like right there, his pole just popped out. I did look at that side. So right there, his pole is nice. He's relaxing into movement. And that's really what I want. It's that kind of head position is what I'm looking for when I ride. A nice relaxed posture. And I don't want to have to hold him vertical. I want him to do it because he's relaxed. And he'll do it. That self-carriage position, that on the bit, in frame position, he'll do that automatically if you wash away all the inhibition and anxiety. We don't have to hold him in those positions. All we got to do is request that he relaxes, and if he understands that and can bring himself to do it, then he'll go into that position all by himself. We don't. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So, and before I even ask him to go anywhere, I'm going to ask him to relax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my reins ready so that if I need to use them, I'm able to. But I want him to relax to me giving him a gentle hug with my calves. So whether you can see my movement of my legs or not, you will probably see his head move. Now he's breathing a little bit, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a hug. I'm going to start to lift. He understands, but so I'm going to kind of wiggle and then start to wiggle. I don't care that he backs up. All I care that he relaxes. So here I'm going to start wiggling. He's starting to relax, so I'm going to leave him alone. So prepare, gentle hug, start to wiggle. He's going up instead of down. Now he's starting to relax. So when we decide that he's relaxed enough, there. So what I really want is for as soon as I sit up and put my legs on just a little bit, and I mean just a little bit, I'm barely touching him, like a rest of my hand on someone's shoulder. Because I don't want to have to use so much pressure. I want my legs just being there to mean something so that I don't have to use them. So that like if I turn my body and my leg comes here, he should be bending to the left. If he doesn't, then I'm going to request that he bends. And if I turn and look this way, my legs move just a little bit. If he doesn't go, then I'm going to stop pulling in a little bit, and I'm going to stop wiggling the rein to the right. If he doesn't go, then I'm going to take the slack out and lift my heel until, but he needs to commit to my body position and my leg position. So when I go back to my neutral bent position, if he stays there without me pulling or holding him there, then I'll let him straighten out, because he understands that he's staying there because my body's bent in that direction. So if I want to go left again, so I move my body, my eyes, my legs. So I'm going to put extra calf pressure, take the slack out. Okay, so at that point, I didn't have to lift my heel or pull on his face. So that's what I'm looking for, minimum. But what I really like is to where I don't even have to activate a rein. So if I turn and look, put my leg on, I don't want to activate that rein. But now I have to activate that rein. Okay, but I didn't have to activate it and to that level of where my feet or my heel has to come up into them. So again, we're going to go to the right, turn, legs are in position. He's starting to go. Give him some time. He didn't, so I'm going to take the slack out of the rein. He's not coming, so now I'm going to activate heavier with my heel. Now, does he stay? No, he doesn't, so I go back to this. Does he stay? No, he doesn't, so I go back to this. Does he stay? No. Good boy. Okay, so now I'm going to try it in a movement, at a walk. And I want him to follow my body. He's bending to the right a lot, so I'm going to ask him to bend to the left. I mean, his pole is tipping left, so I want him to bend to the right. So if he's going to ignore me completely, then I'm going to ask that, kind of leave him alone here so he doesn't trip over that. There we go. There we go. There we go. I really need that pole to commit, because if I don't get the pole to commit, I don't have full mental engagement. You know, this looks great to most people. They would say, this is awesome. You know, he's bending, he's wrapping around your leg, but I'm losing the pole every time I let go. There, the pole's staying, so I'm going to let him go. You know, so if you don't have the pole, that tells you you don't have the mind. And if you don't have the mind, then he might think of something else and just take it upon himself to do that. And that's where we have problems, because at that point, okay, so we don't have the pole. There we go, we got the pole. We got the pole, whoop, lost it. Got the pole, oh, lost it. So here, this is the hard part. Trying to look at the ground and not his pole. I'm trying to be aware of his pole. So here, I'm kind of controlling his trot. He did the trot on his own. So I'm trying to control so he doesn't speed up. I did not ask for that trot, but I was able to stop it from going any faster by controlling it with my body rhythm. And by doing that, I stopped myself from having to say, hey, cut that out. You know, and if he understands that he needs to listen to my body, so right here, he's going. He's going. I'm going to just kind of grab one rein. I'm slowing my body down. If he doesn't listen to that, I'm going to grab with that one rein. So we go in. I'm going to slow him down. Yeah, now he listened to my body without the rein. Okay, so I'm going to slow him down. He's not doing it. Pick up the one rein. Pick up the trot. I don't want to go that way. He's not listening. So here I'm going to spin him a little bit because he didn't listen, just to give him that little bit extra work. I don't want to make him work real hard. Know that if I turn over here, he needs to go over here. He didn't do it. So we're going to turn, and then we're going to go. So now if I turn right, oops, slippery. So if I turn right, he needs to turn right. And if he doesn't, I'm going to get that hind end working for me. And then try it again. Turn to the right. Good boy. Turn to the right. Whoop, supposed to go more. That was better. Good response. So now I'm going to turn left. Turn left. Turn left. Okay, so he's kind of responding, but he's coming through his shoulder. So I like having the shoulder control coming to the inside because he's been doing a lot of drifting to the outside. So actually, for what he's doing to me right now, this is a good problem to have, because my biggest problem with him was drifting to the outside. When I bend him like this, he would drift to the outside, and I had to teach him to come through to the inside, and that was kind of last week's lesson. So now I got to counteract the coming in. So, and it's probably going to go back and forth a few times, but that's okay. I mean, as long as we address it and make it better. So I'm just going to kind of try to keep a straight line here for a little while on an arc. Now, if you lose the sound, come to the middle. That way I'm close enough all the way around. Because sometimes the sound disappears after about 100 feet. So here I'm gonna kind of bend him and drift him on purpose, just to get that. There we go. There we go. Just trying to give him the confidence to break at the pole, even though he's traveling to the right. You know, and if he's willing to do that, he's telling me that he trusts me. If he's not willing to do that, he's saying, yeah, I'm not too sure if I can trust your driving, you know? So he's like that passenger who keeps reaching for the steering wheel or pretending to step on the brake. You know, he just won't trust fully yet. But he'll get there. The more we give him the choice to do so and leave him complete freedom when he's doing it. So like right here, I'm trying to drift him with a bent head, neck, and pole. That's a little better. Full of emotion, but he did it. So that's okay. So I'm going to push him out a little bit, because we know that he has a little bit of an issue with forward movement. So we're going to push him out a little bit. We're going to go around. We're going to go around. You're okay. Easy, easy. So there's a little faster than I want. So instead of shutting him right down, I'm going to get my rhythm up to his and then slow my body down. So you see how I was able to slow him down without pulling on the rein. I just matched his rhythm and then changed mine, and he responded to my change. So you know, if you panic and pull, you pull yourself out of balance, or out of you know, you twist, or then you start saying things that are kind of inappropriate and he doesn't understand, or he gets confused. He's already worried, so why do we want to add more stress? Just whatever he does, say, yep, okay, I'm with you. And then make a change and say, can you get with me? Okay, so he's on the wrong lead here because he's thinking about getting to the boys. So now let's see if we can get him to pick up a right lead. No, he's thinking that way. Let's pick up a right lead. I don't think that's a right lead. Doesn't feel like a right lead. So instead of pulling on him, I'm just going to try and control him. See if I can pick up a right lead. That's a right lead. And he's hurrying, so I'm going to just get with him. Whoa, easy buddy. And he's thinking about the boys again, so here I'm going to just kind of push him away, and then I'm going to kind of double back the other direction here. And he's going to hurry to the boys, so I'm just going to steer him. So what I'm going to do here is push him a little bit. Whoop. And then I'm going to stop him. Whoop. So right there, total ignoring. Now we'll leave him alone for a second. So he's letting his emotions get the best of him. So now I'm going to come over here. I don't really want to go. I don't want him to hurry. I want him to walk over here. And when I get there, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to leave in a hurry. Just to let him know, if you're going to hurry over there, we're going to hurry away from here. Now he's on the wrong lead because he wants to go right towards the gate. Whoa! Wants to go right towards the gate. Okay, so now I'm going to walk back. Guess the rain's making the grass a little slippery. Up. Up. Okay, so if he does it again, I'm going to immediately turn him away, and we're going to go right. But we're going to go right anyways. And we're going to go away. Nope. Okay, and I'm going to stop him here. Whoop, whoop, one rain. And then we're going to walk back. And this time, if he hurries, I'm just going to turn around and go the other way. I don't know what his problem is here, so we're going to go toward where he was drifting from, just to let him know he shouldn't. Okay, so here. Make sure he comes through his left shoulder so I can get a canter. Okay. Woo. 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 So he didn't listen to my whoa at all. So we're not even going to walk over there. Let's see if he listens to my whoa over here as I'm coming towards them. Whoa. He didn't. So we face the other way, and we go the other way. I'm going to do it again. And then as I come around this corner, I'm going to sit. Woo. He's not listening, so we face the other way. Now, if he listened to my whoa, what I would do is I would just stop and then walk right over to them. But because he's not listening to my whoa, I stop. I don't even let him look at them. And then I go the other way. And as I come around this corner, this is where I'm going to ask for the whoa again. Whoa. That was better. So now I might walk some because I still had to use my rein. So I'm going to cut him some slack, but it's not enough. So I'm going to turn him around and say, you did pretty good. I cut you a little more slack. Now, can it get better than that? And whoa. So, really not in that direction very good. So instead of going that way at a canter, I'm going to kind of canter back this way. But not until after I get to where I know I can make this turn. And whoa. Didn't listen. So I want to keep working on this direction. The other side seemed to be a little better, so I want this side to catch up. And again, when I'm asking him to whoa, and I turn him, that puts him on his right, vulnerable right side. So that's his problem, that spot I was talking about on the ground when I was doing that groundwork. Whoa. Okay, that was reasonable. So I'm going to let him sit here and look for a minute. And then I'm going to walk. And head back over this way just a little bit. So these little things I'm doing is just kind of letting him know that I am paying attention to what he's thinking, and I'm going to address them in a way that I'm explaining to him that he don't have to worry about nothing. What he wants is to get back with those guys because he's safer in the herd. I want him to feel safer and more comfortable with me than with them. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I let him know I understand what he's thinking. So by kind of addressing his thoughts, and really I don't care about all the extra thoughts. All I care is what emotion is coming out of it. So is it worry, concern, and you know, the minimal thing is, you know, like right here, he's shying away. So I say, well, let's counteract that shy away so that we can address the emotion. What is his issue? What, why, all that, none of that really matters. It's all we need is what emotion is the problem and what's happening because of the problem, and then apply an energy that counterbalances it so that we can kind of meet in the middle and stabilize it. If you put too much thought into it and say, oh geez, that chair, it's black, and oh, you know, and a lot of people will say, well, umbrellas, or he don't like tops, or you know, you can't go to him with a worm and paste, or anything that looks like a shot. Well, you want to make an excuse for him, then you'll never be able to. But if you counterbalance that and say, so right here, he's just a little sticky, doesn't want to go that way, so we say, hey, come on now, it's okay. So I know it's the sound of the rain on those metal pieces, or the plastic table, or I know what it is. In this situation, I know what it is, but I don't care. It don't matter. What matters is I'm asking for forward movement, and he don't trust me enough to do it. That's what really matters. So he's saying, I don't care what you think. That's scary. I'm gonna die if I go over there. Well, we got to reassure him that he will not die. He surely will not die. And if he don't know that, and we can't prove it to him, then he will always think that he's going to die in that situation. And what kind of a life is that? Buddy. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You know, just let him know the world is not going to end. It's okay. And the more ways we can prove that to him, the more he's going to trust us. The more he's going to confide in us. He'll start to appreciate everything about us and know that no matter how scary the world is, if they're with us, they're in good hands. But we got to prove that in every way. every possible way. You know, and the best way, if you do know what the problem is, bring him over and let him fully get a close look to investigate what is really happening and how much of a fool he's really being. You know, he knows there's noises coming from over there, but as of right now, he don't know what's causing it. He hears it. You know, and he may get comfortable enough to where the noises don't bother him anymore and never find out what was causing the noise. But it was for him to realize what caused that noise, because that'll just be a stronger reassurance once he fully understands what it really was. So he's drifting away a little bit, so I'm going to, you know, I don't mind if he stands here. He can stand here all day long. I don't really care. I don't want him to back away, and I don't want him to shy away. I want him to face it and seek out the intention. Right now, he thinks it wants to eat him. He thinks he's unsafe. Everything eats horses. Well, we want to let him know that this table has no intention but to stand there and let rain bounce off it. That's it. You know, and he's looking over here because he's probably hearing it off the air condition as well. So, you want to let him know, every time he tries to rock backwards, every time he tries to walk backwards, every time he tries to shy away, by counterbalancing that and saying, you don't need to do that, and then giving him complete freedom to do it again if he wants to, he learns it's okay to stay. We're reassuring him in a way that we're not holding him there, making him feel restricted, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, they're feeding me to the wolves. We're giving him freedom to explore and to think and to release that anxiety and inhibition. And, you know, I wanted to do more physical work with him today, but this is the kind of stuff he needs most of, you know, so this is more beneficial than riding and doing transitions. And, you know, he already rides really well. He's pretty well controllable. But it's his mind that distracts him and deviates, you know, where we're going. So address the mind issues. His physical issues are not all that bad. I mean, did slip a few times in the grass, but the grass is pretty wet. We probably should have been doing this stuff in the arena, but out here, there's more exposure to stuff, so we addressed that. So I'm going to ask him to look at that, but I'm going to try and do it without my reins. There we go. Thank you. I'm going to ask him again. Thank you. And all I'm doing for that is putting a little bit of leg on. So like right here, he's looking to the left. I'm going to put a little bit of right leg on. And if that doesn't work, I might start lifting my heel. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to pick up a rein. But a little bit of pressure. So I'm going to, a little bit of left, a little bit of right rein. There we go. Thank you. So if I can bend and shape my horse around my legs, then I'll use my reins a whole lot less. And if I use my reins a whole lot less, then there'll be less pressure. And if there's less pressure, then there'll be less resistance. Because if we pull, he resists. And that will always happen. So when we make contact with him, we want to do it in a requesting way so that he'll get lighter. If we pull on him in a demanding way, he's going to resist and fight us. And instead of getting soft and light, he's going to create a brace and start working against us. So by me getting him to work off my body and legs more, I can do a whole lot less with my hands, and my hands become more of a sensor to feel what he's thinking. If I start feeling a brace on him, then I know there's emotions building, or inhibition, or, you know, anxiety starting to show up. And then I can address those things because I can feel it. I'll feel that little bit of tension. You know, I like to feel my reins a whole lot less. And if I use my reins a whole lot less, then there'll be less pressure. And if there's less pressure, then there'll be less resistance. Because if we pull, he resists. And that will always happen. So when we make contact with him, we want to do it in a requesting way so that he'll get lighter. If we pull on him in a demanding way, he's going to resist and fight us. And instead of getting soft and light, he's going to create a brace and start working against us. So by me getting him to work off my body and legs more, I can do a whole lot less with my hands, and my hands become more of a sensor to feel what he's thinking. If I start feeling a brace on him, then I know there's emotions building, or inhibition, or, you know, anxiety starting to show up. And then I can address those things because I can feel it. I'll feel that little bit of tension. You know, I like to feel with my finger and thumb, and then just lay my other 3 fingers on there. And if I start to feel my fingers start to go in any direction, you know, if he starts to go this way, he's pulling, I feel that on my right rein. So I'm going to use my right leg, my right wiggle here, there. He came off it, you know, so I don't want him to back up. I kind of got off track and lost focus of what his issue is. So here, I'm going to ask him to walk through here. So when I ask to go forward, I'll slowly increase, but if he backs up or goes against me, then I'll rapidly increase my speed. Not my strength. I won't kick him harder or bump harder. I'll just go faster with my requests. So right here, I'm going to ask. So nice, easy request. You'll notice, though, if he backs up, I go a little faster. Not harder, just faster, just to create more energy. So now he's got it on both sides of him. You can hear it on the table, on the grills, on the air conditioner, on the stairs. Probably hears it off that plastic cooler as well. So, you know, this is a place where he's gonna kind of need to figure it out. So he's sort of relaxing, checking things out. I'm going to go for 1 or 2 steps. And if he continues, great. But if he hurries, I'm going to turn him right back around and do it again. Good job. He had full control of how fast he went through there. You know, and if his emotions needed him to go faster, I'd have let him go faster. Once he got away from it, I would have turned him around and went back. So, but we're going to go back again. Or maybe I'll come over here because the rain's pounding off the roof. Nope, forward. So he doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. We're going to help him build that by doing stuff like this. He can do whatever he wants right here. But he followed my rhythm. I'm going to try that one more time in this direction just to see if that was a fluke. And it probably was because he's already avoiding. We'll see. Good job. Good job. He's not looking where I want him to go, but he willingly walked through there in a nice, calm, quiet pace. Now he's a little concerned, won't bend. So we're gonna work on softening his pull to the right. But I gotta get that shoulder to move left while bending him. If he overdoes his hind end and gives me the pull, then that's not really giving me the pull. That's anticipating a turnaround. There, that's much better. I don't want him to anticipate turning around. I want him to trust me in the direction I'm asking him to travel and the position I'm trying to put him in. I'm also trying to soften I'm also trying to flex and strengthen, all this stuff. But I'm trying to get his mind to do it. I don't want to do it. I got to make requests and get his mind to activate the muscles needed, or to relax the muscles needed. Because if he's bracing muscles that we don't want to use, yeah, that's better. If he's bracing with muscles we don't want to use, then we'll never get softness. We may get a light response, but we'll never get softness if we can't release the inhibition that's causing the brace in the muscles we don't want to use. So we need that mind to let go. Just like we need to let go and allow him to think. So right here, I'm going to get with him. I didn't want that trot, so I'm going to slow him down. He's not slowing down, so I pick up one rein. You know, and even if I was on a trail or whatever, you know, I'm not going to say I never pull. Sometimes it catches me by surprise, throws me off balance, and my hands come up. That does happen. But for the most part, I try to get with the horse first. If my rhythm can match his, then when I make a change with mine, he should respond to it. If he doesn't, then I'll pick up a rein. But I want to only pick up one rein, no matter what the situation is. And everybody does that one rein stop where they bend them and they send the hind end around. Well, you can transfer that into a one rein stop like this and not have to turn them around. And you can transition a one rein, sorry, you got to keep moving, one rein into moving through his shoulder and then stopping. You know, so we don't necessarily have to spin them around, and a lot of times when we're on trails, we can't spin them around. So we want to be able to just pick up a rein and stop him with one rein in a straight line so that we can stay safe. Because how many trails have you been on where the shoulder drops off, or you know, maybe you're on a road, on the edge of a road, and the shoulder drops off immediately? You can't spin them there. You don't want them spinning out into the street. You know, oh, we don't have a pole. We don't have a pole. There we go. We got a pole. We got a pole. Good boy. You know, so I'm going to work on some front end movement here. So here I'm thinking about picking him up, putting him down, picking him up, putting him down, picking him up, putting him down, picking him up. Now he felt heavy right there. There, now he's light. And you can see it in the movement, how light he felt. So I'm going to pick him up. He's heavy, now he's light. Boom. Pick him up, now he's light. Pick him up, now he's light. Now he's thinking forward. There we go. So when I feel lightness in him, he makes nice steps. When he feels heavy, the steps are heavy. So you can tell how heavy he is on his forehand by how he feels in your hands, which is why, I don't know if you noticed, but my hands are not closed. I'm hanging the reins in my fingers so that I can, like if I pull harder, the reins are going to slide. I don't want to pull any harder than this. You know? Okay, so I'm going to counter bend him and send him through the shoulder. I'm going to stop him, send him this way. After he passes here, I'm going to counter bend him, send him through the shoulder. Now he wants to look at the boys, so I'm going to work a little harder. There we go, got it. I'm going to turn him all the way around and let him look at the boys. So even though there's still, I feel, a little bit of resistance, inhibition. He's a little, he's wondering what that thing is you're pointing at him. Thinks it's going to shoot him or something. You know, there's a little bit of resistance inside him. But for the most part, he's pretty relaxed. And all it takes is picking up one rein to shut him down. And you can shut him down in a straight line. Whoa. I thought he was going to stop, so I let him go. He didn't, so I picked it back up. But I want to be able to just go. Oh, he's not listening to my body. He's not listening to my body. So he's leaning through, so I got to send him back in. He was drifting out through his right shoulder, so I took him, I'm sorry, drifting out through his left shoulder, so I took him in through his right. So even though I wanted to continue going that direction, like see he's drifting, I'm going to take him through that right shoulder, back towards whatever it was he was shying away from. So if I come around this corner, and now I'm going to come around here, and I'm going to take him here. Now if he drifts, he's not drifting, good. Now if he drifted, I would have stopped, and I would have taken him back through his left shoulder. Like right here, he's drifting, so I'm going to take him back through his left shoulder. And this is why, I'm sure, because he's doing it again right here. And it wasn't as bad, but if he knows that by drifting, I'm going to pull him back through, so I don't know what made him drift over here. Maybe it was the other horses, or maybe it was this. I'm not quite sure. So it's probably this, because he just did it a little bit. Yes, he's drifting right here. So I'm going to stay right here for a minute and just work on taking him through, asking him to stay in close. His hind end's drifting away. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in close. And then I'm going to ask that hind end to swing right through. There we go. Okay, so let's see if he drifts away from you at all. He's not. Good job, buddy. Good job. Oh, it's drifting now. He's drifting again. There, pushed him right back. Now see, he responded to my leg. As soon as I felt that drift, I put my right leg on, and he stopped drifting. He actually leaned back in, so I cut him some slack, even though it's at a walk and not a trot. He listened. He moved off my leg, so. So right here, I'm going to ask him to relax without giving me more speed. So I'm doing that with my legs, and I'm sitting deeper into my saddle so it doesn't increase speed. I'm also managing, I don't know if you can see my left hand, I'm managing his shape and speed with just one rein. You know, typically I would do his shape with my inside hand and control his speed with my outside. But I don't want to speak multiverses to him yet because he's still having issues with the one rein. So I'm going to do everything with one. That's much better, buddy. Much better. So now if I take my legs off and sit, he just stops. Good job, buddy. Good job. So I'm going to kind of just walk him out now and just kind of flex him and bend him and nice and quiet at a walk. And when he feels light and loose, I'm going to quit him. Right there. He kind of ignored me completely, so a little bump on the side. So, and as long as he's going to soften up, and the hardest part for me at a horse at this stage is he's still sort of green. I tend to look at the face to see what the pole's doing. And you shouldn't do that. So try to look at where you want him to come through to, because that makes more sense to him. If you're looking at it, your body is sending energy to it, and that's helping him. You're looking at him, your body is sending energy to him, and that's making him more self-conscious. So if he's got inhibition, you're going to make it worse. So try not to look at him. Oh, you got a barrel there. Good boy, that was nice. Try not to look at him and look at where you want him to go. And I know everybody hears it. Everybody knows they're supposed to do it, but you can't say it enough. Good boy. Oh. Okay. Good boy. Oh. So, it's that mental engagement that's going to make all this better. But we won't get full mental engagement until we get his trust. So we're going to get little bits of engagement so that he understands certain things, so that our requests have significance, but we stay humble and let him work it out in his own mind. Then he starts to engage more. And then eventually, he's drifting right there. I don't really want him to drift, so I'm going to sneak him out to the right. So we want him to understand that we're talking to him. Everything we say means something. There's an importance to it. And we're doing it for his benefit. And that is where he needs to really understand. He needs to know that we aren't doing this for us. We need to keep in our mind that we're doing it for them. Because if it starts becoming about us, we forget about what is needed. You know, so yeah, if I'm on a trail ride, I got a destination, and that destination is about us, or me, if I'm riding alone. Because for me, I go on trail rides to get my horse out of his pen and give him a day out. It's almost like taking him on a date. So I want him to enjoy himself. It's about him, even though I do have selfish motivations and, you know, riding around my yard kind of aimlessly, and, you know, sometimes I'm going, like over there, I was going, doing a circle to the right, and he kind of drifted, so I went back, you know, turned around and went the other direction. It's not what I wanted, but that's what he needed from me. So I give him what he needs, even if it's something he don't want. Because sometimes we don't want things even though we need it. Same thing with the horse. They'll tell you they don't want it, but they need it. You know, like fly spray. How many horses don't like to be fly sprayed? We got to put it on them. You know, and we've got to give them their vaccinations. We've got to trim their feet. You know, so in the beginning, they don't want to be handled like that. They don't want their feet picked up and cut and hot pieces of steel nailed on. You know, they don't want that. But in some cases, they need it. So we've got to do it for them. And we've got to teach them that it's for them. There, good boy. So I'm going to quit right here. I think this is pretty good. He's pretty soft. He's pretty light. His breathing's good. His nostrils are still going, but I'm not feeling a heavy heartbeat. So give him a chance to chill out while I take the saddle off and give him a nice little grain snack. What do you think? Good?